I'm going to tell you a story of when my husband and I fell flat on our face in front of my whole family. We were two Floridians visiting snowy and cold Detroit for the first time, and we had never experienced snow or walked on ice. Our first morning there, as we walked out of my grandmother's house and down her front steps, we both simultaneously fell flat on our face. It was embarrassing. At least we had ice, right? As my face hit the ground, I happened to notice that my husband's face hit the ground at the exact same moment as mine, and this made me curious. Do objects of different mass fall to the ground at the same speed? As a science teacher, of course I got excited. This was a chance to perform a new experiment. But how would I go about answering this question? I decided to use a process that is used by all scientists who conduct experiments to produce results. It's called the scientific method. The scientific method is a method of research in which a question is raised, relevant information is gathered, an educated hypothesis is created, the hypothesis is tested through experiment, and a conclusion is drawn. Don't worry, we are going to break this process down so you can see how easy it is to understand and how fun it is to use. We will discuss the scientific method, hypothesis, experiment, scientific conclusions, and scientific law. Now, back to when I fell on my face. I already had my research question in place. Do objects of different mass fall to the ground at the same speed? Now, I needed to create a hypothesis, or an educated guess of what the result of my experiment will be. To make an educated decision, let's look at what we already know. My husband weighs more than I do. We fell at the exact same time, and we both hit the ground at the same time. So, I'm going to guess, or hypothesize, that all objects do fall to the ground at the same speed. Now, it's time to conduct an experiment. No, a safe experiment. Let's figure out if I'm right. An experiment is a test or trial, or to produce or test a hypothesis and draw a conclusion. To get answers to this research question, there's only one experiment that makes sense. I am going to drop various objects of different mass to the ground from the same height, and I'm going to time how long it takes for them to fall and hit the ground. I make sure to record all of my results and test each object 3 times to make sure that my results are accurate. Now, it's time to draw a conclusion. After looking at all of the times I recorded on my chart, I was able to answer my research question. All of the different objects fell to the ground at the same time. Okay, so what? Who cares? Well, we just proved a scientific law, the law of gravity. The scientific method allows us to prove scientific laws. Scientific laws are scientific statements that will prove true when tested in an experiment in the same natural conditions. Scientific laws are important because they help us understand and make sense of the beautiful world and universe that we call home.